Hello once again, and welcome to Performance Management Part 2. We're going to continue on from Part 1 now. So the critical incident method is an unusual event that denotes superior or inferior employee performance in some part of the job. The manager keeps a log or diary for each employee throughout the appraisal period and notes specific critical incidents related to how well they perform. The behavioral checklist method is the rater checks statements on a list that the rater believes are characteristic of the employee's performance or behavior. The behaviorally anchored rating scale, or BARS as we call it, consists of a series of vertical scales, one for each dimension of job performance, typically developed by a committee that includes both subordinates and managers. The behavior observation scale is a performance appraisal that measures the frequency of observed behavior or critical incidents, and is preferred over the BARS method for maintaining objectivity, distinguishing good performers from poor performers, providing feedback, and identifying training needs. Productivity measures are appraisals based on quantitative measures such as sales volume or parts produced, that directly link what employees accomplish to results beneficial to the organization. It also consists of criterion contamination, and it focuses on short-term results. Management by objectives is a philosophy of management that rates performance on the basis of employee achievement of goals set mutually agreed between the employee and the manager. And in looking at it, the chart looks something like this. I'm going to let you digest this rather than me reading every step. However, again, if you need to pause, please feel free to do so. So to create an effective MBO program, managers and employees must be willing to establish goals and objectives together. The objectives should be quantifiable and measurable for the long and short-term results. Expected results must be under the employee's control and free from any criterion contamination. The goals and objectives must be consistent for each employee level. All the same for top executive, all the same for manager, and all the same for the employee. Managers and employees must establish specific times when the goals are to be reviewed and evaluated for performance updates. One thing that most companies are using now and can be used for performance measurement is the balanced scorecard. And it focuses on the same four related categories of financial, customer, processes, and learning. It ensures the method's success, translating strategy into a scorecard of clear objectives. It attaches measures to each one of those objectives. You cascade scorecards of the front line, and you provide performance feedback based on measures. You have to empower your employees, though, to make these performance improvements, and occasionally reassess your strategy. So the balanced scorecard for corporate looks much like this, but you can also use it for the business unit and for the team unit or individual, and thus you're paralleling to the organization's goals what the employee must also perform to help attain those goals. So the balanced scorecard, as we covered previously, is about the customer, financial, internal business processes, and learning and growth. So which appraisal method is the best? Well, each one has their own set of advantages and disadvantages, and so I'm going to let you read through these real quick, and again, feel free to pause as needed. Types of appraisal interviews: the tell and sell, or tell them about it and sell them on the idea. It's like persuasion. And that would be the ability to persuade employees to change to a prescribed manner. Tell and listen, which is a non-directive. Appraiser communicates the strong and weak points of the employee's performance. Then, how the employees feel about the appraisals are discussed. So, in other words, you review it with the employee, and then they are free to discuss it with you whether they agree or disagree. Problem solving focuses the interview on problem resolution and employee development. And in this method, we seek to stimulate growth and development of an employee by discussing his or her problem, his or her needs, and their on-the-job satisfaction or dissatisfaction. Interview guidelines are invite participation, ask for the employee to make a self-assessment of how they think they did, try to change the behavior, problem-solving focus. If there's something you need corrected or improved, this is the point to do it. Minimize your criticism, express appreciation, be as positive as possible. Establish goals, be supportive of those goals, ask how you can help them achieve them. Follow up regularly and address the behavior, never the personality. And again, I'm going to remind you the best technique to use is the sandwich technique. Start off with something good and positive, interject the behavior that you would like to have changed, improved, or altered, and then finish with a positive note so the employee feels like this is not a beat-up session. Factors that affect an employee's performance. Well, motivation, environment, and ability. And I'll let you focus on these individual categories for a moment. And again, feel free to pause at any time to read through it further. Managing ineffective performance. Possible courses of action are to provide training to increase their skills and ability. Maybe they never got properly trained. Transfer an employee who's been a good employee to a different job or a different department. Or, if necessary, take disciplinary action. And unfortunately, sometimes there's no choice but to discharge the employee. But there are cautions. All actions taken must be objective and fair. And I'm going to say document. Do not treat underperformers differently. Don't set the employee up to fail. What is a high-performance work system? It's a specific combination of HR practices, work structures, and processes that maximize employee knowledge, their skill, their commitment, and flexibility, thus creating motivation. It's composed of many interrelated parts that complement one another to reach the goals of the organization, large or small. And the fundamental principles are you make a system design, you link to that strategy, have your principles of high involvement defined, implement it, and then reassess and evaluate the outcomes at the organizational and the employee level. Egalitarianism and engagement. An egalitarian work environment eliminates status and power differences and in the process increases collaboration and teamwork. When this happens, productivity improves when people who once worked in isolation from one another now begin to work together cohesively. Shared information. A shift away from the mentality of command and control towards a larger focus of employee commitment and empowerment. And thus you create a culture of information sharing where employees are more willing and able to work towards the goals of your organization. Knowledge development, very important. Employees in high-performance work systems need to learn in real time, on the job, using innovative new approaches to solve novel problems. The number of jobs requiring little knowledge and skill is declining in the world because we're becoming more technological, while the number of jobs requiring greater knowledge and skill are growing rapidly. Performance reward linkage, important to align employee and organizational goals together. You want both to work together in cohesiveness. When rewards are connected to performance, employees will pursue outcomes that are mutually beneficial to both themselves and the organization. Success of any high-performance work system depends on first changing the roles of managers and team leaders. With fewer layers of management in between and a focus on team-based organization, the roles of managers and supervisors is substantially different in an environment of high-performance work systems. Managers and supervisors are thus seen more as coaches, facilitators, and integrators of team effort. Supportive information technologies must be added to the framework of high-performance work systems. Sharing information is vital to the business performance and growth. High-performance work systems cannot succeed without timely and accurate communications, data, and information to the minute. Very important role for IT. Information needs to be about business plans and goals, unit and corporate operating results, incipient problems and opportunities, and any competitive threats if there are any. What is internal fit? It's a situation in which all the internal elements of the work system complement and reinforce each other towards success. External fit is a situation in which the work system supports the organization's goals and strategies. The HR scorecard assessing internal fit. Do all internal elements of the HR system complement and reinforce one another? You should be asking that question. Addressing HR practices. Do HR practices significantly enable key workforce deliverables such as employment stability and teamwork? And external fit. Are workforce deliverables connected with key strategic performance drivers? So to be successful, there are some necessary actions. 1, ensure that change is owned by senior and line managers. Allocate sufficient resources and support for the change effort. Ensure early and broad communication. Ensure that teams are implemented in a systemic context. Establish methods for measuring the results of that change. And ensure continuity of leadership and champions of the initiative. Everybody working together towards one goal. So, to implement a high-performance work system, you need to build a case for change, communicate it. If there's a union, get them involved. If not, if you have employee committees, get them involved. Navigate the transition, and then constantly evaluate to make sure you're on track. Recruiting, evaluation, and reward systems devised by the HR groups can have a huge impact on how well any high-performance work system can be implemented. HR managers are in a good position to help employees in transition handle what they are going through. A process audit. Questions. Are employees actually working together, or is the term team just a label? There are companies that say they have team dynamics, but they don't really. Are employees getting the information they need to make empowered decisions, and are they engaged? Are training programs developing the knowledge and skills that employees need in place? Are employees being rewarded for good performance and useful suggestions? Are employees treated fairly so that the power differences are minimal? Are the behaviors of the organization desires being exhibited on the job? Are quality, productivity, flexibility, and customer service objectives being met? And again, I refer you to the balanced scorecard. Are quality of life goals being achieved for the employees? Is the organization more competitive now than they were in the past? Implementing this kind of system is one thing, but keeping it and sustaining it is another. It requires constant effort and evaluation. Outcomes of the high-performance system. They have advantages. They have higher productivity, lower costs, better responsiveness to customers in a more timely manner, give the company greater flexibility, higher profitability, along with higher productivity. So, hope you have viewed part number 1. This is the end of part number 2. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.